Hello, I'm Todd Hall, President and CEO of TrueLiant. As we mark our 70th anniversary in 2022, we reflect on a rich history that would not be possible without the support of the great city of Winston-Salem. From our humble beginnings in 1952 to the present, where we will soon serve over 300,000 members, hire our 1,000th employee, and exceed $4 billion in assets, to a future poised for continued growth, I am proud of the work we are doing together. TrueLiant is grateful for and remains committed to Winston-Salem and all of Forsyth County.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It is my pleasure to introduce to you today the partner and owner of Linville Team Partners, Mr. Aubrey Linville. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. I'm so excited to chat with you. There's so much that I know if Mark could be here, our president over at Greater Winston-Salem, he would ask you. So I'm going to ask in his stead. And I just want you to share everything that you're doing, because you've done an amazing amount of things over the past 10 years. So let's just start out with you sharing with everybody what Linville Team Partners does.
Linville Team Partners is a commercial real estate brokerage firm. We're located at 206 West 4th Street, so right here in the heart of downtown. To make it as simple of an explanation as possible, we help buyers and sellers and landlords and tenants with their commercial real estate needs.
That's pretty simple. I love that. I love that. And so over the past 10 years in doing that, you've credited the community helping you hit that mark. So I want you to share a little bit, because Winston-Salem is so awesome. I want you to share a little bit about how you started the company and how the community has wrapped themselves around you.
Sure. Well, I can take you back to graduating from NC State. I had started a small business there. It was putting on, for lack of better terms, Little League style one-day junior golf tournaments. Oh. And it started as 4 tournaments the first summer, and then 9 the next, 27, and then doing well over 100 tournaments. And that turned into a junior golf clothing line, and that turned into a junior golf e-commerce business.
Wow.
And at the time, I was in my mid-20s, and exited all of that and was sort of trying to figure out what my next move was. I grew up in a very entrepreneurial atmosphere. My father taught me everything I know, as well as my mother. They were both entrepreneurs for my entire lifetime in the family entertainment business with putt-putt golfing games and adventure landing. So I was in my mid-20s trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and was seeing these infomercials on TV about real estate and people buying foreclosures at the courthouse and flipping them and making a profit. And
right.
So I decided, hey, I would just try that. Mid-20s, I had a little bit of capital in my pocket, and I thought, I'm going to buy a house at the courthouse and fix it up and sell it. So I did that. Then I did that a lot more, and that turned into having 3 full-time crews working with me, flipping a lot of houses. It was a volume game for me. And then I got into some small office buildings and some apartments. And then in around 2008, it was harder to borrow money from the banks. The financial crisis was ahead of us. And John Ruffin, who has been a great mentor and still a great friend, owns another very successful, great commercial real estate company in town, Meridian Realty Group. Him, along with Mark Folk, sort of got my roots in the business there. I was there for about 4 years, which is where I met Coleman Team of Front Street Capital now. But Coleman was 25 and I was 35, and we decided to start Linville Team Partners. And we thought it would be Linville and Team as partners for eternity with this business. And so we struck out and we leased some space on Trade Street next to what at the time was Mary's Diner on the top floor behind Hank Perkins' home. And, the community just really felt like they rallied around us and gave us a chance to be successful. Like, you hear about this entrepreneurial ecosystem in Winston that's budding, But, it's really been budding for a long time, in my opinion. And some of the key stakeholders around town, people that owned real estate or just influential folks or just people that could have been great mentors surfaced to Coleman and I and said, hey, I love what you guys are doing. I love your energy, love the technology that you're embracing. What do you think about submitting an RFP for 525 Vine in the Innovation Quarter? And we were like, about fell out of our seat to have that opportunity in our first year. So we put everything we had into it, and we won that account and helped them lease up 525 Vine, and that parlayed into other relationships like Hank Perkins and Drew Gersmeyer and everything they're doing north of 6th Street and in Industry Hill. And it was a great feeling to know that the community was there for us. And I really contribute a lot of our success to those early believers in what we were doing. And to this day, even, new people sort of emerge from time to time and hear what we're doing. They look at our website or, the people that work at Linville Team Partners, wear it almost as a badge of honor around town and talk about our culture and our brand. And so just very thankful for, coming back to your question, just very thankful for our beginnings with Linville Team Partners on Trade Street and for all our clients and people that have helped us be successful.
That's pretty awesome.
This year marks our 10-year anniversary. We're celebrating it literally as we sit here and talk. Like, man, it's been 10 years. Like, this went by so fast. I've had so much fun.
Wow.
I've been able to assemble just an unbelievable group of people in our office that care deeply about what they're doing and care deeply about each other. And it's created some pretty unbelievable results for our clients.
Talk about creating that group.
Yeah. So, looking back on Coleman Team and I, we thought it was just going to be him and I. We hired a woman named Kelly Whitener, who was like our office manager, marketing director, everything that we needed help with outside of just doing brokerage on a daily basis. And we had no plans, no grand plans, and people just sort of started presenting themselves to us as opportunities. And we've always had this MO about, if great people present themselves, if we can, we try to find a seat for them.
Nick
Gonzalez is a great example. Yep. Yeah. Ben Bloodworth is a great example. We worked at Meridian Realty, and then he went off to chase his dream of starting a beverage company, came back into the real estate business. I mean, it's just, you look at everybody on our website, and they've all got a different story. Most of them were green, coming into the business, didn't have a ton of experience. But when you find the right person and you find a seat for them and you invest in them, not just financially, but you mentor them, you show them the business, and you provide a platform for them to be successful, it really creates a deep root in what we're doing in the office and in our family. So when I think about our culture, it's a lot of people talk about their office culture, but I think when people come in the front door at Linville Team Partners, we've got a beautiful office, great people that smile when you walk in the front door. They're excited to see you there. Very collaborative environment. We have glass walls or cubes. It's very intentional to be collaborative. A lot of open meeting space right when you walk in the front door. Our conference rooms are on 4th Street. I mean, literally, they're like 5 feet away from the sidewalk on 4th Street. So that's just an exciting place to be. And that's really how we've built our company, is just by aligning with great people. And it's just, magic happens from there. I don't know how else to quantify it or explain it.
I love that. The magic happens. Well, some of the magic is how you've wrapped yourself in investing or helping other companies to grow. So one of those that I'd love for you to talk about is Strickland Oil.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I met Justin Strickland maybe 3 years ago. Justin's lives in Rural Hall. He had started a quick lube business. He had 3 units. He exited that. Spent some personal time on his farm with his beautiful family. And decided to get back in the business. And I believe he had 7 locations when we met. And we met actually at a prison ministries breakfast.
Really?
Somebody had invited me to sit at the table. Somebody else had invited him to sit at the table. We sat next to each other and we met and we started talking, and nothing really sparked from that conversation other than just just socializing with each other. And he owned a car wash that he was looking to sell, and he used our firm to sell it. And then a few months later, Strickland Brothers was starting to gain steam, and they were starting to sell franchise licenses. And so we reconnected and talked about what can we do to help Strickland Brothers grow their platform through real estate. So they're a quick lube operator. They're typically 2 or 3 bay, 10-minute. You get in, get your oil changed. They don't upsell you on brakes, transmission flush, and all these other kind of things. And so that was a really interesting concept. It was somewhere that I knew that Linville Team partners could add a lot of value. And you layer that on top of, like my comment earlier about finding good people. I mean, Justin Strickland is just good people. I mean, you spend 5 minutes with them and you're like, there's something about this guy that's different. He's special. He cares about his people. He cares about what he's doing. It's not just about, the next oil change and charging somebody, the next price. It's, there's a lot of interesting history and meaning behind what he's doing with Strickland Brothers. So I really gravitated to a lot of that. He would be a great person to have this conversation with. He can tell you a lot of interesting things about his growth. But so we got connected with them, and over the course of I believe it's been about 2 years now, they went from 7 locations to around 150 locations.
That's amazing.
They've got 350 committed across the country, and so it's really been a deep partnership between his company and my company. And so we manage the life cycle of all things real estate for them. And they sort of fly under the radar. They're located in Winston Tower. They have almost a full floor over there. They have about 800 employees across the country.
Wow.
And they're doing really big things in Winston. It's an exciting company for people to pay attention to.
Wow.
They are operating under the name Accelerated Brands now, which you may hear that name also. So Accelerated Brands operates Strickland Brothers 10-minute oil change, and they also have gotten into the express car wash space under the name of Trademark Car Wash.
Okay. Well, speaking of brands, there's another brand that you're connected with, and that's Impact Brands. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Impact Brands is really a passion project. It's something that came out of an alignment on values and character and ethics with Justin Strickland. Okay. Him and I sat around and talked like we are right now about what's important to us, and we've learned a lot about each other's childhood and how we grow our companies and whatnot. And so we just decided to create a company called Impact Brands, where we look for young, budding companies that can grow their business through Justin's operational excellence and experience. I mean, the guy's got a lot of talent. He's one of the smartest people I know. And you layer that with our real estate team and our experience at Linville Team Partners and what we've been able to do for him. We're looking for other companies that we can add value to, like we have for Strickland Brothers, between his team and my team. So it's very much in its infancy. We're about a year old. We really haven't invested in a company that would be a headline for a podcast like this or for our website. We have helped some other brands, and we're getting closer and closer. But it's a very exciting project that we've got some awesome folks that work at Impact Brands now, and we're building a foundation for pretty explosive growth that I'm excited about. We're not in a rush. We're going to take our time with it, but we see it as an opportunity to grow companies locally or nationally, and hopefully we'll get lucky and we'll catch a company that's in explosive growth mode like Strickland Brothers, and we can bring them to Winston and get them to grow their company here. Yeah,
I'd love that. I love that. And speaking of just Winston, this place just has that entrepreneurial ecosystem that is booming. You mentioned that you think it was booming long before now. Just talk a little bit about why you continue to invest in Winston-Salem and just encourage companies to come here.
Sure. Yeah, well, I was born in Washington, D.C. I moved here in the 4th grade, and I lived right over by Reynolds High School. And moving here from DC in the 4th grade, my parents were like, oh, this is very little traffic. It's very safe. And so I was able to ride my bike literally down Stratford Road to Haynes Mall. I would ride my bike downtown. And downtown, I mean, there was, you hear stories about how empty it was. My father's business was headquartered in the Chatham building right above Washington Perk. So I would come down to work with him from time to time. That's where the downtown partnership was. And so I just got, I really see my years in commercial real estate as a once in a multiple generation opportunity or experience of watching a downtown really come to life. Our timing was perfect. There's a lot of people that did the heavy lifting well before Linville Team was started 10 years ago. You look back at what happened 20 years ago with people that had a vision for downtown and said, we need to do something about this. And they invested their time and their dollars. And it was a very thankless endeavor at the time. And then, I came back from NC State right after I graduated, and there was nobody my age that was living here. But I just loved being here. My wife's family was from here. And, one thing led to the next. One door would open up on 4th Street, or one door would open up on Trade Street as an art studio, and then a new restaurant opens up or a new bar opens up. And it really just started to snowball pretty quickly. And if you're from Winston, it's a special place. Being here most of my life, I know it's a special place. Just the people here are special. You talk to Simon Burgess with Mayfair Street Partners, and he visited Winston-Salem, and he tells stories about how everybody was so friendly. He was like, this is a place I want to be. And, I don't want to tell his story. I don't know all the details of it, but I'm pretty sure he just decided to move to Winston. So he started investing his money here. And you look at all the projects that they've done, they've been instrumental in a lot of great things in downtown Winston-Salem.
Including this building. They bought this building.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Roar and Indigo and their multifamily projects around it, and L.A. Reynolds, out Country Club Road. I mean, there's a lot of things that they've done that people don't know about. But there's a lot of people like him that are investing in Winston-Salem that people don't know about, because it's a great place to invest your dollars. I think it's easy to have access to the key stakeholders in the community. I hope for those people that are investing here, they sell it the same way that I see it, where people kind of wrap their arms around you and help make sure you're successful. It's just a great place to live. It's a great place to work. For all the academics that are happening. A great place to learn. Something that I found out about recently through Greater Winston-Salem Inc. was the aviation center out at the airport.
Yeah.
I was thinking, man, what a cool place to learn a trade. I didn't even know it existed a couple years ago. I know it's new, but there's a lot of cool things that are happening here. You look at the innovation quarter, what's happening there. I saw a sign going up on Barcelona Burger at Bailey South. So in the last week or so, it's been put up. So I'm excited to have that restaurant open. It's just a vibrant place where people are friendly, and it's easy to want to be here.
So let's go back and talk about Aubrey for a second.
Yeah.
What is something that is little known about you that you don't mind sharing on the podcast? What would somebody be surprised to learn about Aubrey?
I'm an Eagle Scout.
Really?
Yeah, I got my Eagle Scout at Centenary Church here on 5th Street. But beside that, I've had a pretty colorful past in college. I was on the 5.5-year plan. I had a kind of a rough road.
Wow.
My first year at East Carolina University, and at the time I wasn't proud of it, but I look back on my experiences in college, and I'm very grateful for the way that things turned out, because I think after failing out of East Carolina University, it taught me some of the hardest life lessons I've ever learned, and it's made me the man that I am today. I've got a tireless work ethic.
Yes.
I care deeply about the things that I commit myself to, like my family, my friends, my business, and this community. And I don't know if I would have been that way had things not happened the way that they did.
Wow. I love that. So for any budding entrepreneur, no matter what your age or what you're experiencing right now at whatever college you're attending, there is hope.
Yeah, that's right. There is.
So be encouraged on that. That's great. And you also give back to the community so much. So thank you for what you do. And you mentioned the prison ministry earlier where you actually met Justin. Are there some other things that you're super proud about that you're wrapping your arms around in the community?
You know, one thing with Linville Team Partners that we started a few years ago was we have people reach out. I mean, sometimes it feels like a daily or weekly basis looking for a sponsorship or a donation, or you sponsor a hole at this golf tournament for $100. A lot of those kinds of things. And we were trying to allocate our charitable budget appropriately. But we decided, you know what? Why don't we do something a little different? Let's let everybody in our company nominate a local charity for us to support. So we decided to allocate 100% of our charity budget each year and human capital to that organization for one full year. And that's been a pretty special thing. So we've supported JDRF, we've supported Ronald McDonald House. This year, as part of our 10-year anniversary, we decided to support the community, which we've had a mural put on Greater Winston-Salem Inc. building at 411 West 4th Street. Yeah, just a great place for people to see a little bit of the history and add a mural to our downtown landscape. And also donating a tree for Mercial Plaza for the annual Christmas tree lighting each year. So excited about that. But, you know, being part of a community is all about giving back. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not like a one-time gift. You know, it's really more of a lifestyle or a way you think about how you carry yourself in the company that you represent. But one other thing I'm really proud of came from the most tragic thing that really could ever happen to a parent. I lost a child at 18 months in a tragic accident, and you know, through that tragedy has risen some great opportunity for other children and other families. So my wife and family and myself created the A.J. Linville Foundation a couple years after our son A.J. passed, and we've raised money each year. We sort of had a hiatus because of COVID, and we need to fire it back up. But we've raised about $500,000 for children's charities, and we've given to Wake Forest Baptist Health for cancer research. But most of the money that we've raised has been donated towards kids who need prosthetic limbs in our community to do things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And the motto of the A.J. Linville Foundation is help other kids live life to the fullest. So we feel like, it's been really cool. You know, we've seen a 12 or 13-year-old girl who couldn't run but wanted to run, and she was gifted a leg by the foundation. And we watched her run at Tanglewood from the train all the way to the pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, you know, a boy able to ride a one wheel with a prosthetic leg around. Just a lot of cool things like that. A kid that could play the violin with a new hand that couldn't play before. But really, life is all about doing good things and surrounding yourself with good people and being a good human. And I think if we all lived that way, it would be a great place to live. It's how you should lead your company. If you're a new entrepreneur thinking about how do they get started, you know, surround yourself with good people. Don't try to do everything on your own. Surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you to do well, that are going to lift you up. A lot of people are going to tell you you can't do it. A lot of people are going to tell you it's a bad idea. But if it's something you believe in, believe in it. Surround yourself with great people and never look back.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a perfect note to end on, Aubrey.
Great, thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. Before we let you go, I want you to share with everybody listening how they can learn more about the A.J. Linville Foundation and how they can get in touch with you about Linville Team Partners and also Impact Brands.
Sure. Yeah, so ajlinville.com. It's a great place to get information on the foundation. And ltpcommercial.com is our website. We're pretty easy to find on Instagram. We've got a lot of good content that we post on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you just search for Linville Team Partners, it'll show up there. And then Impact Brands the same way. So Impact Brands company.com, or excuse me, weimpactbrands.com, or just Aubrey at ltpcommercial.com is my email address. Anybody listening to this is welcome to reach out to me anytime, and I'll do anything I can to help.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to share?
Just I think with our 10-year anniversary here, just if any of our clients or supporters are listening, thank you. Just from myself and everybody else at Linville Team Partners, and even our past employees, just thank you for giving us a chance and believing in us. And it'll be interesting to see what the next 10 years holds for us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Well, for everyone listening, until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today, so join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.